Hey, real estate agents, welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. He's the man with the plan. How's it going today, Joey?
I'm doing good, Jeff. How are you?
Good, man. Good. It looks like you're getting your setup all done there in the background. So
Yeah, it's about 50% done. So eventually, it's all going to be fixed up, and we'll see.
it's coming together. You got a little glow stick back in the back there or something.
I do. I can actually change colors on that too. So
Cool, man. Psychedelic. Hey, agents, we got a great guest with us in the house today. That is Wendy Patton with Keller Williams Realty Elite. How you doing, Wendy?
Wendy.
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, Tony Scardina right there, Security Title, got you on the show. So we're appreciative to him as well.
Anything to cause trouble, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, we love Security Title, one of the main sponsors of the show, along with Fidelity National Home Warranty. So make sure to give them a shot, guys. All right, Wendy, well, let's get right into it. Let's have you introduce yourself to the agents that are watching or listening. How long you've been in the business, and then what got you into real estate?
Wow. Okay. We've got a half an hour. No, I'm kidding. Well, I started about 36 years ago in the real estate, primarily the real estate investing world is what brought me into the now traditional, what I would call the realtor retail world. And I started investing in real estate in 1985.
Wow.
And right out of college, my mom she bought a real estate course back in the 80s. And my dad said, nope, it's not happening for her. So she gave it to me, and I started researching and reading that course, and then I started investing in real estate. So since then, I've been a real estate broker in a couple of different states, including Arizona and Michigan right now currently, and own a couple of Keller Williams offices, one in the Goodyear area. We're also soon opening up in the Buckeye area, very, very soon, like within 2 weeks. And then I have one here in Michigan as well.
Awesome. So tell us about your first rental then, or your first investment property.
My first home, I'll call my first investment. When I first moved to Michigan in 85, General Motors had bought this company called EDS, which was Ross Perot's company. And they had moved about 17,000 people in within a couple months. So we had nowhere to live. We were all in hotels, motels, renting for 6 months, unlimited time. Well, I got the Red Roof Inn. My friends all got the Hilton. Go figure. Anyways, so I had a real sense of urgency to get out of there. And I remembered the course that my mother gave me. And so I started going to a real estate investor group. I didn't have any money. I didn't know what I was going to do. So one of the guys at the table said, well, you have a credit card, don't you? And I said, yeah. And he said, go get a cash advance from your credit card. That's your down payment. Well, that's in 85 before they had to season funds, and we could do all that kind of stuff. They didn't care where the money came from. So I had the down payment, bought my first little 3-bedroom home here in Michigan, and I rented 2 of the bedrooms out to 2 women in the hotel. And my principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, even with a 10% interest rate back in the 80s, was $438, and I rented 2 bedrooms for $250 each. So that was really my first rental. I lived free.
Wow.
And they paid my mortgage payments. They paid everything.
Yeah. So that sounds like what they call house hacking today.
You got it. House hacking is the term now that they call it. And that's how I got started, because I really kind of needed that. I didn't really have a lot of income, and I didn't have a lot of cash to make it happen. And with that kind of scenario, it worked out really well. That was before house hacking was called house hacking. Yes.
Yeah. I forgot to ask how you met this guy here, Tony Scardina.
Tony and I met, he actually was introduced to me by the guy I bought the Keller Williams from in Goodyear, Arizona. And he said, you got to call this Tony and Lori. They're amazing people. And by the way, Tony's Untitled. And he introduced us. We had breakfast, hit it off really well. I really liked them. Then Lori ended up joining my office in Goodyear after, that's not too long ago. And so Tony is our title rep currently in our office.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Way to go, Tony.
Great office, a lot of good people in there, so it makes it easy to do your job.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Wendy,
what,
I got
what's
a
the,
question for you really
oh,
quick.
go ahead.
What course is that you, that first course that you actually had?
So funny, Joey, people ask me that all the time, and I can't remember because, okay, I was packing, my moving van was all packed, and my mom said, "Hey, I've got this course for you." And I said, "Oh, okay, okay." I mean, I was busy thinking about, like, I got to move to Michigan. I've got this job there from Colorado. I moved from Colorado. And I just remember she gave it to me, and it was cassettes at the time. And I just remember listening to it all the way to Michigan because I was bored. I was driving to Michigan, that long drive. And that's why I started listening to it. And to this day, I don't remember. I just remember it told me join a local real estate investor association if you're serious. And that was the one tip I remembered from it. And somehow I lost that course in my move. So people have asked me, I don't think it was Carlton Sheets or Dave Delgado. It was one of those kind of guys from the 80s, right?
Got it. Okay.
That
But
was
I
going to
don't
be my guess,
remember.
was Carlton Sheets, or I don't know if Ron LeGrand was doing
No,
his thing in the 80s, or that was
no, he
after.
wasn't there in the mid 80s. He kind of came in when I started speaking as well, a little bit before me, because I spent about 20 years on the road, 15 years on the road speaking and teaching real estate investing like Ron LeGrand on a lot of the same stages. And we know each other, of course. But I think he started a few years before I did, maybe 5. But it was definitely in the 90s when he started. I was in the 90s as well.
Hmm.
I
Wow.
was
So
late
you
90s,
were
probably
you were
early
like a
90s.
rock star then.
Even now.
Well, I mean, no, I never say anyone's like a rock star per se. It's just like that. But because I did so many deals and we started teaching people, I just became really knowledgeable about primarily creative financing stuff. That was really my background. And then I, ended up writing some books on it. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. I have a lot of history with investing, and I love it.
That sounds like it's been fun. What was if you don't mind, can you remember what one of the largest stages was that you spoke on, or the group?
Yeah, the largest. I've been to almost every real estate investor group in the country between the time I was speaking. I haven't been speaking for about 5 years now, but probably some of the biggest ones were. The biggest one was probably in Arizona, ASRIA, Arizona RIA.
Yeah.
Alan Langston has an amazing group in the Phoenix market, and he used to get maybe 800 to 1,000 people in the room to
Yeah,
quiz
I'm
the
part of that
conventions
group
when he
right
first started.
now. So it is a pretty big group, and it's still pretty big now.
It's still pretty big now, yeah. But I just remember when he first started, we kind of became friends, and he came out before he even launched his group. He came to Michigan and kind of picked my husband's and my brain on how to, how do you run a group? How do you put people in the room? How do you, promote it, that kind of thing. And he was really a student of trying to find the best of the best. And he really put together an amazing group in Arizona. And yeah, love
Wow.
that. But I would say
That's
that's probably
awesome.
one of the biggest ones. Although I think there were some other weird ones that we did. And I'm trying to remember, gosh, there was some I try to remember who put those on. Anyways, a lot of fun ones. Yeah.
All right.
A lot
All
of fun
right.
stages.
So what would you tell? So if an agent, that's watching this right now says, well, I really feel like I need to start investing. I've been in the business, I'm helping people buy, and I'm helping, sellers sell, but I haven't built up my own portfolio or even gotten started. What advice would you give somebody who's saying, I want to get started somehow?
Well, of course, I'm a very much pro investor, right? I think it's a shame on you if you're an amazing agent and you're not an investor and you haven't taken that extra money because we only need a certain amount to live on, right? Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, whatever you make beyond that should be just plowed back into investing or creating wealth and income for your life. But a lot of agents don't necessarily take the opportunity that we actually have as agents to buy deals. So I think I would encourage them immediately, like, let's get started. Join ASRIA, start learning as much as you can about investing. I know Tony does some mastermind stuff with investing, and just get together with experienced investors that know what they're doing, that can help you kind of get those first steps going. For me, when I started, I was the perfect case of I had no money, so I didn't have a lot of income. I had no money, so I had to be creative. I used credit cards initially, And those were my down payments for all my first properties. Now, that was before I knew about lease options, subject twos where you take over the deed, seller financing. I didn't know about any of that stuff. So those are always available for those people that don't have any money or credit.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you have money or you don't have money, there's always ways to get into real estate. Always. Always.
Yeah.
And I didn't. So
Credit cards was how I got into the first one, at least the most recent one.
really?
Yeah. So have you heard of Fund and Grow?
No.
Okay, well, so they get business credit cards for you. And
Oh,
yeah, so what they do so that the credit is no longer in your name, it's in your business.
yes.
And you
Yes.
have to apply for it in your name, and then they take it off and just throw it onto the business. So when they pull my personal credit, they don't see any of that.
Right.
So, I was able to, they were able to get me about, close to $200,000 worth of credit,
Wow.
my wife. So Jeff and I, we did our first investment together, and that's the funds that I
Awesome.
went. Yeah. So I'd love to hear about your book as well. I'm sure that's what you wrote about. Is that?
Yeah. My first book, and really it's out of print right now, but you can get it on Amazon used. If you can find it for $25 or under, I mean, you better jump on it, right? Because sometimes it's on there for very, very expensive, but so I don't even have them. But it's called Investing in Real Estate with Lease Options and Subject Twos. And if you just search my name on Amazon, you'll see that and my other books that I've written. But that was my first one, and that's the best one for the investor. That book to this day is, I would make very minor changes in it because of the way things have changed in the industry, and it's very minor, like so minor that I wouldn't even waste time on this podcast talking about it, right? As far as the changes go. But those techniques are amazing for anyone looking to really get in without using money or your own credit.
Yeah. Are you going to see that as a really good option going forward? Let's say, because a lot of people have refinanced, at what, 3%?
Yes.
So let's say a year from now, they're having some trouble.
You're on it. I
Isn't
hear
this
it.
going to be like the big thing?
I think that would be an amazing time to do a lot of subject twos. Especially if they really kind of financed it fully or almost all. They know how much equity, or very little equity that they put down. It's a great opportunity to take over that mortgage or those payments, really, and get untitled to that property, which is what subject to is, right? When you take title, if some of your listeners may not know, but that's where sellers still deed you the title to the property. However, the mortgage stays in their name, and you just start making those payments. So if they're at 3%, like you mentioned, or 2.5%, like a lot of them were in the fall, then you've got an opportunity to have some really good cash flow potential. That would be better than interest rates might be in the next year or two, because we've already seen them go up, right? And also they would be at owner occupied rates probably, which would be a little better than the investor rates.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I mean, when I was learning about the subject too, how willing are homeowners to do that? Because now they're responsible for that, and if they decide to move somewhere else, they're going to be responsible for another one if they even qualify for it.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because of course most sellers, if they know anything about putting it right on the market, it's going to go crazy, right? In Arizona, I mean, you're just going to have bidding wars. It's just crazy, right? There's no inventory. However, there are still sellers that don't want to put it on the market. They don't want to have bidding wars. They just want to get out from underneath the payment and be done with it. They'll walk away from it. I had a guy that I just bought one from recently in the Michigan market, and he didn't want to do a subject to, and I said, okay, then why don't you just let me list it? Because I don't want to list it. And I said, well, sorry, I'm not going to pay you cash for this home because of the way my numbers work for me. It works if it's a sub to, and I don't call it a subject to in front of a seller, right? But it works for me if I'm able to take over your payment. And yet, but it doesn't work for me if I have to pay you full cash. And I understand if it doesn't work for you either, that's okay. And he really, he was like, Wendy, I just don't feel comfortable with it. I said, I don't blame you. I don't know that I would want anyone to take over my mortgage either. However, I've got references if that might help you feel more comfortable. And he never once called any of my references. And he said, you know what? Let's do it. Is that
Wow.
okay? We're closed in like 3 days.
Nice.
You know, so, and I do get title insurance, Tony. Yes, we do get title insurance even with sub twos.
We can go as quick as 24 hours as long as there's not an HOA.
Oh yeah, that's the big issue, right? They're getting those status letters. So if there's no HOA, then you could do it really quickly, and then just make it. You could get title insurance subject to that underlying mortgage. Everything's insured except that thing. That thing is staying on there, and their title company is not going to. They're going to have some kind of whatever they show it on the commitment or policy or whatever. And it's quite interesting, but I think there's going to be some good opportunity for that. And obviously right now we're in such a hot market. There's less opportunity when there's ever a hot market.
Yeah.
When it changes, and it will, don't know when, but when it does, then there's going to be more sellers willing to do it. And you're going to have a lot more creativity with sellers that they're going to be open to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing a lot more opportunities in Michigan right now. I mean, what's the market like up there?
It's similar to Arizona, except that Arizona is on steroids because everyone's moving there from California.
Yeah.
For some reason, they're just not picking the snowy place to come to, right now. I was in Arizona last week, so and all of February, but it's not an area where people are flocking to because they're choosing to, but they are in Arizona.
Yeah.
And that's causing some extra pressure on our real estate world. Well, it's still very hot here. Very hot.
Are you seeing more opportunities are you also buy hold? I mean, are you building a portfolio or mostly? Okay, you are?
Everything. I do fix and flips. I do buy and holds. But a lot of my buy and holds now, we've sold a lot of them at the end of the year and beginning of this year. And primarily because I think we are at the top of the market and I did not 1031 exchange them. Although that might be like, why wouldn't you? Well, because we've been told that with Biden's new tax plan that, there's going to be that those long-term gains might be up to your ordinary income level, which for me would be a lot more than taking that 24% hit right now. So we've decided to pay the hit now, hold the cash, and we do a lot of hard money lending. And now we bought some in Arizona as well. We just bought a lot there that we're going to flip there. So I'm always looking. I just bought a fix and flip here on our lake that we're starting to work on any day. I mean, we just closed on it Friday. So I do whatever comes my way. I like them all. But would I buy another buy and hold? Yeah, of course. I mean, we still have 15, 20 of them. But, and we have some like 5 commercial buildings here.
Wow.
But I used to have 100, when I first met my husband, I had 175 rentals.
175.
Yeah. He
Minus
didn't really like
property
it. He said,
management,
why do you
I guess,
have
right?
so many houses? And I said, I like them. And he goes, but you have more houses than you have shoes. And I said,
I'm going shoe
I'm
shopping.
going to have to go shopping. So I bought a lot more shoes.
I was going to say the shoes lose value, don't they?
No, it's just kind of funny. But we did downsize it. And actually at the time when I met him, a lot of them were leveraged and it was right before the crash. So luckily we got rid of quite a few of them before that happened and really kind of just said, let's do more free and clear or less of them, but make them free and clear or very low leverage. So I'm at the point in my life, I'm in my mid 50s that I don't want a lot of debt. I know you can get rates at 2.5%, 3%. I got it. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I was all over that. Bam, bam, bam. Pull my equity out, buy another one. Pull equity out, buy another one. Now we're like, I don't want that stress. I don't want that. If the market tanked, I don't ever want to feel anything about that. So for the most part, we do buy and leverage many times. I'm not anti that. It's just not my primary MO anymore. Now it's like smaller numbers paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have like a property management? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I do. I used to be a property manager in the 90s and then I sold the property management company in 2002 to the lady who ran it for me and she still manages for me to this day.
Oh, nice.
I do not like to handle tenants.
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't want to know anything. Just bill. Just give me my check every month. And And she's patient. She likes it. But I really, I think it's important as an investor though, right? We had that experience. It's good to manage your properties for a while or maybe forever if you love it. I just didn't love it. I didn't like hearing. I was a sucker for excuses, and I don't like hearing them.
Yeah.
And I would fall for them, and then it would come to bite me. I wasn't very good that way. I was like, nope, I don't want to know your story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the market.
I don't know my tenants anymore. I've never met them.
So the market that we have here in Phoenix, it doesn't seem like very many properties fit the mold for buy and hold as much.
I agree. It's a little bit different, but your appreciation is where, of course, I mean, it's a very weird thing. This is like an interesting little topic here because obviously if you're buying for appreciation, that's speculation, right? And that's riskier. It's a little bit of gambling. Yet I might do a little bit of that dabbling, but really watching into like, when is that market changing? Get out, I just don't want to go through another 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Yeah.
with not being.
I don't think that could happen again unless we have bad loans again.
But you know what, Tony? But they're doing it, right? I mean, all of a sudden now I'm selling one of my rentals here to a buyer that has zero money, not a VA buyer. It's literally some program here that is zero down.
Ooh.
And these people that are buying it do not know how to even open their bank statements. They had to, or not open them, but how to understand them and balance their accounts. They literally had to go to the real estate agent, the buyer's agent, and have that buyer's agent help them to supply all the mortgage requirements. I mean, but you know what? I'm selling it.
That's crazy.
It's one of my ones I'm selling to an end donor. My property manager actually bought quite a few of them.
That's scary to think that someone doesn't have a grip on what would be like basic high school stuff, but I guess they're not really teaching it.
No, that's really scary, isn't it?
My son recently had to do an investment thing for school, and they gave him $100,000. And they told him he's got to trade 18 stocks a week. I go, what are we teaching the kids? How to lose money? What's the matter with you?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean,
Right.
they don't teach cursive. I mean,
I know.
it's a good thing we have a good, strong Italian family.
Yeah. No, but you're right on that. You're right. It's interesting. I don't know. I think so. There is an opportunity that, in Phoenix. I think that whole market. I think it is a tough buy and hold market personally. If you do get 2.5% and you don't have to put a lot down, I think you can barely make it work. I don't know. It's tight.
Yeah. The prices now, obviously, the opportunities to flip are great right now.
Yes, that's what I would do.
If you can get it done quick enough and get it back on the market.
Yeah. Make sure you don't lose that opportunity, that window while things are still so tight. And I think they're going to be tight for a while just because it's just not enough inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a month's worth of inventory or something? It's not much.
Yeah, it was just on the, Security Title does a thing with Tina Tambor, the Cromford report. I was just on there yesterday. And Tony, I think you were on there too, but she mentioned supply.
When I was on there, somebody texted me, "Turn off your camera."
Oh yeah, you were walking around. I saw you're everywhere.
Hopefully you were dressed for the day.
I was mostly professional, as I like to call it.
Whew.
Yeah, he was.
But
she mentioned too that supply continues to drop, which just means price pressure is going to continue to go up. But that she is seeing demand start to tick down just a little bit, not at the same pace as supply going down, but demand starting to slow a bit, just because some buyers are just going to say, I can't buy in the market anymore. Right. Or they're going to get frustrated because they put in 15 offers on 15 different houses.
So frustrating.
So
that's so frustrating. Yeah. And that's got to be horrible for them. Really.
And how do you beat a cash buyer? When you're financed and they're waiving appraisals and waiving everything else. And the only way you can do that deal is be traditional, and you're not going to get it. Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Last summer, when we first bought the office there in Goodyear, this was last summer, my husband and I came out, we started looking at some properties, and I started searching the MLS. I got my license there, and we live in the Verrado area. So in Verrado, anything like over $1 million was kind of just sitting there. No rush, no nothing. Well, fast forward to right now, last week, we went to we wanted to see this house that had just gone on the market that morning. It was $1 million, exactly 1 million. And it went on maybe 8 or 9 that morning. We get there at 2 o'clock. The listing agent's there, and he says, highest and best today at 5. And I said, just like, this came on, like, are you kidding? And I go, it's $1 million home. And he goes, yeah. He goes, we already have 4 or 5 offers.
Wow.
And I said, are you kidding me? I said,
California money.
I can't even get it together in the next 2 hours to make this happen. And we wouldn't have been able to anyways, because I said, let me just ask, are any of them cash? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, and here's the other thing, Wendy, I'm going to tell you straight out. 2 of them are cash, and they will pay $10,000 more than anyone else. So he goes, I don't know where that's going to end up. 10, 10, 10. Because I don't know where it's going to end up. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. It went beyond that I know of. Until it's public records, right? Until the MLS is updated when it closes, I won't know the exact amount. But hundreds of thousands, I do know that. I mean, wow, crazy. They're California buyers. They don't care. They're going to pay a couple $100,000 more. They don't really care. They're not going to get something like that for 1.2 million in California that had city view, golf course view, mountain view. So anyways, it's really like, it's such a strange thing that is so crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
They could have moved.
Of course, waived inspection, appraisal, everything. There was just cash, like done. I mean, what a time to sell.
Absolutely.
A time to sell.
Sell and move to the Midwest, right?
Yeah. Geez, you can buy my house here, like, man, you could buy a mansion here. Yeah, we're selling ours this year.
Yeah.
Here, our big one.
So if you feel like the market is going to change at some, nobody knows for sure when, but let's say it's by the beginning part of next year or what have you. Right. So are you just putting cash aside right now, just trying to get ready?
Yeah, kind of. We did. Really, for the most part, we're keeping ourselves a little bit more liquid. And I'm doing some hard money loans, but they're like 6 months. So they're short-term deals that I can kind of, the market's not going to play tank in the 6-month period, and I'm making sure that my borrowers, the investors, have some skin in it. Whereas a year or 2 ago, I would have financed everything, the purchase, the rehab, all of it. Now I'm like, got to have something in it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just because I don't want to be that spot where it drops right in the middle of our loan.
What's that something in it? How much is something in it?
What's that?
20 grand, 30 grand. How much is something in it for your investor to do?
I depends on the investor and depends on the deal. Usually, like if they say, oh, it's going to cost 30 grand to rehab it, I go, great, you're going to put the 30 grand in escrow with me. And when you get work done and you show me that you paid your roofer or whatever, I'll give them draws, construction draws. Oh. Usually that's it. I'll usually finance the purchase and they usually do the rehab. But if the rehab's a whole lot, then I might finance part of it.
Yeah. No, this has been great information. Thanks so much. Before we move to the next segment, is there anything that you definitely want agents to know regarding investing? I mean, any little that you want to share?
I'd say do it. Just do it. Definitely try to find those opportunities that do exist, and figure out how to make them happen. A lot of times it's when we go to a listing appointment, we should always be thinking when we go to list it, should I be buying this or should I be listing this?
Yeah, see, that's awesome. That's a question I was going to ask you is how could we take advantage of this as agents? Not to take advantage of our clients, but just to,
right.
Go in there and say, okay, well, I'm an agent. I'm seeing the property first.
Yeah.
We could pretty much be iBuyers if we wanted to and say, hey, we'll offer this in cash. I mean,
right.
You're saying there.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like when you go on that listing appointment, technically they're not my client until I sign the listing, right? So at that point, when I walk in that door, I am, working for myself at that moment until we become in a relationship. And then, but I'm usually pretty straight with people. Like the guy that I told you about, I bought the subject to here in Michigan recently. I told him, I go, look, I'll buy it from you on the subject to, I take it over mortgage for for 150. But I think if I listed it for you, I would list it for 199. I think you'd get 200. He didn't want that. He knew, I told him how much I'd list it for, and he still went with the other.
Wow.
So, sometimes I think if we're very honest with them and share the truth with them, a lot of times they still want something that doesn't seem logical, but it is for them, right? They just have a different perspective of what they're doing. So I would say when you're going in, think about listing it or buying it. And if you don't have the cash, start thinking about how you can buy it creatively, either from them or with someone's hard money loan or a private loan from a someone if you can't qualify to get a mortgage. There's all these other creative ways to get into real estate, even if you have like bruised credit or no cash. There's always a way to get in.
So basically what you're saying too is never assume that you know what that client is going to want to do.
You've got it. Because we can't choose for them. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You're a great way to put that.
All right. So if any agents that are watching or listening today want to reach out to you, about your brokerage, whether it's Arizona or Michigan, how would they do that?
Yeah, so they could call us up. If you want to give me a call, I'll give you my cell phone even. Well, my email is Wendy Patton, Patton @kw.com. That KW is like Keller Williams, but it is kw.com. You can reach out to me via email. You can call my cell. I'll give you my cell. It's 248-866-3585. And check us out. I mean, we have a lot of agents who are investors in our office, and we want to encourage that because I believe, and I want my agents to learn about multiple streams of income. It's not just about selling real estate because that's a one hit at a time thing, right? Just like when you do a flip, it's a one-time deal, you get paid. How do we get that money working for us so that the money starts generating enough income that we can live on that passive income, right? Where we don't have to work for it anymore. Now, that means you can choose to work, you don't have to work. And so that's one of the big things I think that for me is very important that my agents have that option of learning about how to get money working for them.
All right. Sounds great.
Thank you.
Are you ready to get in the ring? Yes.
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 Okay.
All right.
What's the ring?
We're going to find out right now. I'm going to give you some questions, more like rapid fire, just a few little questions.
Oh, I don't know this. Okay. I better pay attention. Hold on.
You're good. How about this? Why do you think, or what do you think the reason is that many agents are not successful?
They don't keep to a schedule and treat it like a job.
Yes. Great one. How about a book recommendation?
I love The Success Principles by Jack Canfield.
All right. And during all this COVID time, did you have a favorite Netflix, Amazon Prime, or Hulu series that you recommend?
I liked The Designated Survivor. That was good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at least the first two seasons.
Who was that? Kiefer Sutherland?
Yeah, the first two seasons were really great. Then it got weird, but.
That's kind of what my wife and I thought. We watched the first two, and then the third one, we're like, it's kind of changed a little bit. What's going on?
It was a different author, by the way. Someone else wrote the third season. We looked it up.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed the language changed a lot.
That too, yeah. And the sexual scenes and stuff.
For the worse.
Like, whoa. I still have one scene there I cannot get out of my mind because I've never seen it in any TV show, guy on guy. I have never, ever actually seen that visually, naked guys. So I was like, whoa. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. How about, let's see. Joey, do you have a question? Let's see.
No. Well, how about this? Who's your favorite superhero?
Oh, there you go.
Favorite superhero? I always like Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Muscles.
Yeah, it's pretty buff.
There you go. Tony, do you want to answer any of those? Did you have a favorite series?
Favorite what?
Did you have a favorite series on?
I always mess it up. Is it Jack Reacher?
That's a movie.
Yeah.
They do have a series, don't they?
Yeah. Lori and I got into that, and then we ran out. There was like nothing left, and we were waiting for the next one to to load up, and we haven't got into it yet, but we had a good time with it for sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
don't
I
do
figured
a
you
lot-
were going to say those car restoration shows or something.
Yeah, I do. You know me in the cars. I do a lot of car stuff, but with the wife as a family thing,
Yeah.
she gets tired of that car stuff after a while.
Yeah. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for being on here.
Thank you very much for having me, Jeff,
Yeah.
Joey, and Tony. Thank you for the invite.
Thanks.
Yeah,
buddy.
great information, and we truly appreciate it. And agents, until next time, we will see you later.
See you later.
See you, Tony.
Have a good day.